They told her that her husband, if she could reach the center of the labyrinth in time, would be waiting for her, as long as she reached the middle before the bells tolled for the last time. Lucy had prepared for this day, beginning the day that she had learned to write her name, and then every time she picked up her dolls, she would make the lady doll begin somewhere hidden, or at the opposite end of the house one time, and have her travel through fires or trolls to get to the man doll. The lady doll always found the man doll, and they lived forever after in a really cool treehouse mansion with lightning bugs as their lights. And of course, the pre-teen years, which were stifled with the slightly undertone of envy toward each other's maze wedding plans and skills. Girlfriends flipped through shiny wedding gown magazines, fiercely circling which gowns they would love to wear for any given theme of after-ceremony. Lucy would chime in as well, though never felt quite like she was pointing out shoes for her own wedding, or salivating over a cake for her own reception, but rather that she was pointing these items out for the lady she thought she had to be. Lucy wanted to help that lady out. It couldn't hurt anyway. But she wondered why that lady that she thought she had to be wasn't as obviously excited as her peers. Her peers seemed that they already knew their husbands, or didn't care who their husbands would be. The forward bells tolled again in unison, so that she couldn't remember from which direction she had entered the maze, allegedly, or so was the idea behind the 4 directional bells. But Lucy knew the sun had been on her right and moving left, which meant the entrance was due south. But the entrance didn't matter. That wasn't the end goal. The maze training became serious at age 14 and 15. All her peers picked out their training gown, a dress in which they would run through a simple maze to the timing of a bell that clanged once a minute for 20 minutes. There was no losing during this first running. Even if a lady did not reach the center in the allotted time, they would allow her to continue until she did, and each lady was treated with encouragement, cake, and dancing after they all ran, and the after-party was joined by the gents. Yet the ladies all subconsciously understood what the gents would not understand until their wedding day, that the gents were now competition and trophies. But the music would thump and the sexes mingled, and they allowed this strange new chasm to widen even as their bodies drew close. The bells tolled 7 times, the 7th minute. At 15 years old, Lucy had reached the center of the maze in only 5 minutes. While her heart had beat with the thrill of the game back then, she felt it now forcing its way to her ears. Every corner of the labyrinth was just more greenery. No husband on the platform, no man with gleaming eyes. Her dress was her mom's, her hairdo done up by her arthritic hands. It seemed right to wear her same dress. None of the others felt like her style anyway. Neither did her mom's, but this one at least had some semblance of meaning. The 8 minute. 8 bell tolls. Lucy wondered what her husband would look like. She wondered if he would find her beautiful. What would his name be? "Go back! Turn around, please!" Lucy stopped. Her heels sunk into the ground. Her legs refused to move. Not that she was sure they would be able to move even if she wanted to. This was part of the maze. Her older girlfriend had warned her of the many obstacles that would be thrown. The red herrings, the temptations to get turned away, the misleading signs, all meant to distract her from the end goal. Lucy was surprised that they'd have her soon-to-be husband yell for her to turn away, though. She pulled her foot up. The ground kept her shoe. The other shoe stayed put as well as she moved forward. "Think about it. Just stop," her husband's voice boomed. Lucy had thought about it her entire life. This was the moment, the pinnacle, the reason for all the training. 10 bell tolls. This had to happen, or she would remain alone by law for another 5 years. and become the shame of her family, the annoyance of her friends. What about him, though? Lucy stopped then. Do you want this? She found herself yelling. This was all wrong. This was not supposed to be how the May's wedding unfolded. No one told her this would happen. Nobody did this. Period. Silence. Lucy stepped forward, her bare feet squishing into the cool grass down to the succulent soil. No, I'm not ready, her husband responded. Not as loud, but loud enough. That's a normal reaction, Lucy had been told. That's normal, we'll be fine, she called. Silence. Then again, please. Lucy couldn't move closer. You don't want me? She asked as a statement. Suddenly the puffy sleeves felt like marshmallows stuck on her arms. The dress felt like nothing but a fancy curtains tucked around her body, and she felt like a little girl playing dress-up. I don't know you, he shouted. I don't know you either. So why do you want me? The bells began their 12 tolls. You're my husband. Please. Lucy turned, skirts and fists, and confused, angered sensibility welled in her eyes. The stranger was right. Who was he indeed? And how did he come to be in the center of the maze? He did not choose to be there, clearly. Lucy had not thought of that. She hated most of all that none of this made sense after all, after her forcing it to make sense. And now that she was here, surrounded by these leafy walls, she thought she had done it. She thought she had made sense of it. Lucy pushed her tears with her arm and unpinned her hair bun. I hope you get out of here, she shouted. Thank you, the man responded. The maze took Lucy 5 minutes to evacuate. And this was from the March 1st prompt. If any of you guys have any prompt suggestions, whether it's a visual prompt, such as art or photography, or a written prompt, which could be anything from just a random statement, or a word, or a series of words, or whatever, just let me know in the comments, or message me on Twitter or Tumblr, or email me. And any prompt that is requested to the scriptory, I will for sure use. Will for sure use, but I'll for sure write a written piece for it as well. And if anyone has a little piece of writing that they'd like shared too, I would be more than happy to share it. And whether or not you're proud of the piece, it's just fun to do. It's fun, good practice to get your work out there and get used to having people hear your work. What did you think about this prompt and the way that I took, like the turns that I took? I know it was a little hard to probably understand the various like flashbacks, because I was trying to do like a flashback to like how it was kind of building up to this moment, and it's easier to see that type of formatting in a written format rather than talking, but yeah, what kind of imagery and story ideas are evoked for you when you see this picture? I didn't really necessarily know where I was going with it at first, but that's the fun part about these writing prompts, is that they just start to unfold. These stories start to just kind of unfold on their own. So yeah, just trying to motivate for the weekend and hoping to get maybe another flash fiction piece written, and not sure I'll work on Everbound, but that's always an option. But for sure I'll be doing some chainmail and maybe getting a caught up on some Game of Thrones because I have not rewatched all of the seasons yet, and the newest and last season is fast approaching. So, anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Keep writing.